Hello, I'm Ashley, the engineer at Andover Norton, and one of the questions I've had recently was my engine breather is returning frothy oil back to the oil tank. Now, after a couple of calls, I did mention that you need to go away and recheck the routing of the actual hoses back to the oil tank. And it was on this particular oil tank, the later Commando style tank, that the owner was having issues. The thing is, it's not the first time. We do hear of it. Once every couple of years or so, some people plumb up the oil tank incorrectly. Normally, they get the actual return and the supply correct to the tank, but it's the actual oil tank breather and the engine breather that get confused. Now, I'll explain the difference between these. Clearly at the back, we have the actual oil feed where the banjo goes in via the strainer down to the actual right-hand side of the junction block. Now, this one is your return line. These are Mark III tanks. They don't have the spigot off the side for the old style chain oiler system that used to drop emulsified oil all over your rear chain and your garage. Now, the interesting part is when we come to the top of the actual tank, and we will get close-ups of these. Now, the actual breather from the engine comes back to the filler neck. So this just squirts air backwards and forwards, and basically it's just hot oil vapor that you should see coming out there. You shouldn't see oil being returned via the filler neck here. You should see it via this pipe coming up into the rear of the filler neck on the oil tank. That is the engine breather. Now, the oil tank breather is where some people get confused. The one at the middle here is the oil tank breather. This would either go to a catch can, or some people still use it going into the actual air filter. Quite a few still do. I still use it. I just run the hose via this into the black box air filter. I've done away with the arrangement that used to go and suck to the actual balance tube on the carburetors. All that's gone. This can go straight in. Now, I keep my oil level on this, but on the bottom of the dipstick to the low level, I'm not any higher. I tend to find that if I do that, I don't get so much vapour come out the top of the oil tank into the air filter and drip out from underneath the bike when it condenses. Now, it also helps if you use a decent oil as well. If you use a cheap oil, you'll notice it more. If you use a decent oil, you'll notice it less. So that's the oil tank and how it's plumbed in. Pretty straightforward, but it is easy to get it wrong, and it's usually these two positions here that are exchanged when people put it back together. Which brings us on to the junction block. Now, this sits on the engine as you're looking at it. Now, as if you're sat on the bike, and this would be down on the engine at the rear of the engine. The oil feed from the oil tank goes to the right-hand pipe, and that's as you're looking at it in the video. That is the feed to the oil pump. It comes straight from the oil tank. The other side is the return. It'll either go back to the oil tank or ideally via a filter. Now, something else that's been cropping up just lately is oil hose. Now, you can buy lots of oil hose from lots of places. I've actually looked for alternative supplies of oil hose when we've been short of the choline hose. Now, there is a problem. Many manufacturers make oil hose. Very few actually do hot oil hose. The only stuff you may see is hydraulic hose, which is a lot thicker in diameter. Now, for the automotive stuff, if you're buying hose, make sure it's suitable for hot automotive oil. The reason we think it's not so common as it used to be is the fact that many engines now, everything's internal, or if there is something to come off the actual oil system within the engine to go to a turbo which is adjacent to the engine, it's done by fixed and rigid pipes. So we're starting to see less hose availability for hot engine oil. Now, the best stuff out there I would be looking at is the choline we sell, top quality hose, or depending on where you are, I believe Gates were doing some time back. That was about 4 or 5 years ago when I looked. But likewise, make sure it's decent quality manufacture and it's suitable for hot engine oil or hot automotive oil. Now, the other thing as well, we've got our open day coming up on the 17th of May. Now, It doesn't matter what you ride, you're all welcome to attend. The one thing that we won't be doing on that day is selling parts or repairing bikes. So you'll be quite welcome to either pre-order parts so we can get it ready and you can collect on the day. There will be no exchanges, no additions. We just can't do it. It'll be a box. Here's your box. Thank you very much. Now, the other thing, repairs. We will not be doing repairs on the day because we've tried it one year and there were so many bikes queuing up because this was loose, that was falling off, this needed doing, etc., that we can't do it. However, you'd be more than welcome to leave your bike here and come and collect it at your convenience, or we repair it later on when we get the time, which at the moment could be weeks because at the moment the workshop's pretty busy. Hopefully the weather's going to be good and we hope to see you on May the 17th at our open day. Thank you very much.